10,000 feet and that stunning win in the rarefied atmosphere of Johannesburg. Now fully grounded and back to sea level, Toby Booth will be hoping to extend the winning sequence to 5. Young Dan Evans is at fly half. Another of the loanees from Bloemfontein, Evaldi Boshoff, is in the midfield. Alex Cuthbert poised to make his long-awaited return from the bench. For Ulster, it's a very different pack to the one which nicked the famous win at Leinster on New Year's Day. Ian Henderson and Nick Timoney released from their Ireland duties start. Otherwise, Dan McFarlane testing the depth of his squad. Jacob Stockdale is back to full fitness this season and in form on the wing. There is a late change though. Mike Lowry is out. He didn't get through the warm-up, problems with the hamstring. So Ethan McElroy, after a 3-month absence, is straight into the starting 15. Well, the Ospreys have got a couple of their loanees from South Africa starting today. Victor Sekekete at lock, only arrived on Friday, but there is one of the men back for Ulster, released from his duties with the Ireland squad, Ian Henderson. And his role today will be absolutely key. Ulster, who will have picked up a bit of scar tissue from those 2 matches in the Continental Cup, conceding 95 points over the course of 160 minutes. Defeat at home by Toulouse, and then in West London against Harlequins. But here comes Justin Tipuric. Well, it is the round of origin. And there you can see the man wearing the colours of Trebanos, which he does all the time on his head, but also he will be wearing the socks of Trebanos on both legs. The Ospreys man. And there he is, now retired from international rugby and playing today 3 months to the day since he damaged his hand, broke his thumb, which required surgery. That was in the defeat at Rodney Parade. Well, there is the referee, and the referee is wearing, well, he's got uneven socks, if you know what I mean. One sky blue one scarlet one. Federico Vedavelli. Just his 5th league game, and it is Jack Walsh who gets us underway. The Ospreys playing from right to left. First clearance coming from Nathan Doak. And it's a very good afternoon. First of all to Gareth Anscombe. Good to see you, Gareth.
Your mark. Keep your mate with you.
He's having any problems hearing us at the moment. So there is Sam Parry throwing in at both Loosehead and hooker for the Ospreys. Sam Parry and Nicky Smith, who've got combined more than 10 seasons of experience here with the Ospreys.
Take him back.
Here is Nathan Doak. Keelan Giles coming across. There is Keelan Giles on to Walsh, who's really growing into that fullback's jersey. By instinct, he's rather more of a fly half. After a few early wobbles last season, he finds himself playing rather more with 15 on his back this term. But the Ospreys going for 5 straight wins in all competitions. They've had a very good few weeks. Here's Ruben Morgan-Williams, who will look to hoist this. This will be one to chase for Matt Prothero and 1 or 2 of his mates. There's Doak.
On timing.
Well, Craig, it's a vital game all round today, isn't it? After the misery of continental competition for Ulster, they want something rather more like the form that we saw them in
All
Dublin.
in front. All 7, wait. Go on now.
Well, that's a good clearance from Dan Edwards.
Here. Justin. No.
John Andrew,
Keep the mark.
having his second start of the season at hooker. Henderson reaching out, can't quite get his hands to it. John Andrew has had one or two wobbles with his line out throwing this season.
Use it. Stay.
Landing pretty much on the forehead there of dear, and Giles puts it down. Here's Walsh. Just turning Doak. Doak was well positioned for that one.
Inside. Hold.
Into Dan Edwards once more. He's one of the players who's just signed a contract extension. And it's sitting down nicely, almost with a bit of golf-style backspin. Will Addison touches it down.
Goal line drop out.
We'll have another crack. Gareth, you can hear us now.
Yes,
good to see you, fella.
Yes, thank you. Sorry for a few comms errors at the start, but we're good now.
Yes, thanks for having us. A few technical difficulties, but we're here now.
Well, let's hope Ulster don't have any technical difficulties, which they did have against Toulouse and the Harlequins. They'll be glad to be back to this competition because it's easily forgotten. That was a fantastic win, wasn't it, in Dublin?
Yes, it was. I think they had more than technical difficulties against Toulouse and Harlequins, but certainly their performance against Leinster was unbelievable. It's not often you go to the RDS and win.
The carry there from James Ratty. Ratty, who spends most of his rugby playing in the back row, but maybe his future there at lock. Sekakaketi having his first carry. Sekakaketi, the Cheetahs captain, only arrived on Friday from the heat of Bloemfontein. Giles there on to Justin Tipperick. There's Sekaketi once more.
Okay, advantage offside, never onside.
Loanees from Free Staters. Morgan Williams offloads there to Tipperick. This is good stuff. There's Tom Buerta. Tom Buerta, a former Cheetah.
A much better start for the Ospreys, though. They've struggled to start well in the competition lately, and I know Ulster have been huge starters in most of the games, so it's a big focus for the Ospreys today. Make sure they can stay in the fight early on. They finished games well recently, but it's really important at home they go into the game early here, not let Ulster get away from them.
Busy old start to the season with Ulster, I know, playing 13 games in 14 weekends. They've had a bit of a breather, which I think for both sides has come at just the right time, allowing for some recalibration. But this is the time of season when little fractures start happening in the league, and both of these sides will be well aware that a win here is necessary to really keep them in the hunt for a top 8 finish. So here is young Dan Edwards, just 20, having his third straight start at fly half. Well, he's pulled that 22. One wide. Kicker of his quality. Kicker of your quality, Gareth. Gareth
would have nailed that, wouldn't you, Gareth?
Yeah, Dan's had a nice little start to his Ospreys career so far. He's taken his opportunities. He's, saw him coming through last year, and he's got amazing pace. People won't know he's exceptionally quick. So any space he gets today, hopefully we can see him challenge the line a bit. But
10, let's go.
No, he's at a pleasing start. Not one he would have, he would have liked to have got that one, but hopefully Dan's got a big career ahead of him.
There's Kieran Williams. New centre partnership today for the Ospreys. They must start looking forward to days without
Hold in front.
the likes of George
Touch.
North, Owen
Everybody
Watkin,
play.
still with the Wales squad. There is Stockdale. Here's another player who's had his injury issues. Ankle surgery a couple of seasons ago. Started finding his feet last season again, but now he's been in terrific try-scoring form. 7 tries this season to Jacob Stockdale, back in the Ireland squad. There he is.
Good kick from Will Addison there. Good fielding to catch that on the full and then send it back down. Good chase line, give Ulster the line out, putting pressure on the kicker.
Sorry, the mark is inside.
Let's see how things go this time
meters,
for
please.
John Andrew. Craig, you're a good man to talk about this. As a wing, you are rugby's equivalent to the centre forward in football. Never really happy unless you're scoring tries, are you? That's almost how you sort of mark your success, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. As a winger, if you're scoring tries, you're doing your job well. And The Liberty Stadium, sorry, the Swansea.com stadium is actually the one place in the league where I haven't scored, so it's a difficult place to come.
It's the one, is it?
It's the one, it's the monkey on my back, yeah.
You bring your boots today?
I did. Which team needs me?
It's still good job.
If they steps, okay, yeah, you have to stay in the right spot.
Place kicking under pressure in a couple of moments, which is when I shall turn to Gareth. I was there for one of his big two. There've been a few more than that, I know, but two we really remember, aren't there? The one in Bilbao and then Bloemfontein.
Crouch.
Yeah, good days. I suppose those are the ones that always get blown up, and those are the ones you remember. But yeah, look, special days for me for sure. I'd like to think hopefully there's still a few more somewhere, but a ton of hard work to get to there.
So Morgan Williams there with a put-in. Matt Prothero poised behind the scrum, but look at this, the power. Well,
yes,
the Ospreys, that front row, very competitive indeed, with the likes of Nicky Smith on one side, Tom Boerter on the other.
Yeah, over there, 50 meters.
This has always been a big focus of the Ospreys game too. You know, scrum penalties, going to the line out now, trying to create some more pressure, but massive having Nicky Smith back today from injury for the Ospreys. A bit of experience up front with Tom Boerter, who's just re-signed. So this is going to be a big part of the Ospreys game today. Can they apply pressure here, and can they turn it into points?
Tom Boerter's the sort of tight head you like, isn't he? Because he doesn't miss much rugby. Missed the trip to Italy a month or two ago, and in fact, I think that was the first URC game he'd missed for about 5 seasons.
Yeah, he's a great pro, Tom. He's a pretty simple man. He loves his rugby, loves his golf, loves his biltong, and it's about all he does. So
likes pushing as well.
He does. Look, he is exceptional at scrum time. He's probably not the most mobile man, but he's been a great signing for the Ospreys, and like you say, he's hardly missed any games. A great professional for the youngsters to learn from, and turns up and does a job week after week.
Craig, you were talking before kick-off about some of the white noise that's been going on around in Belfast about what's happening next season at Ulster, but it's a side with a very rich history. 1 or 2 alterations today. Do you think 1 or 2 of those are taking a bit of a look at the future?
Certainly a club with a very rich history, my home club, you know, and I'm a lifelong fan. I think the rugby world as a whole is struggling at the minute. Not too much budgets, not too many big budgets. The market's saturated as well with some clubs going under, so it's a difficult time to be in the rugby environment. Ulster have had a relatively tough couple of months. Certainly I think players will be moving on next season, still to be released, which is amazing because 12 or 13 of us left last season. So how small is the squad going to be next season? You know, how many more guys are going to be cut? It's an interesting one.
You've had some very tight games this season, haven't you, with losing bonus points gained by either Ulster or the side you've beaten in 8 of the 9 league matches so far.
Yeah, I mean, going into this weekend, we were sitting 6th, and then Edinburgh jumped over us. And then there was a couple other performances over the weekend that sort of put us down to 8th again. So this is a massive, massive game for Ulster and Ospreys today. The league is so tight in the middle.
How do sides tend to cope with late alterations? Both have had to do it in the last 24 hours, with the Ospreys losing Dom Morris, who was supposed to be starting in the midfield alongside Kieran Williams, but for Ulster, Mike Lowry pulling out just before the start of the match. And there you can see, straight on, Ethan McElroy. We haven't seen him in action for 3 months.
No, Ethan picked up a nasty injury against Munster at home, but it's an interesting one because Ethan has definitely played a lot more on the wing than Michael Lowry has. So he'll be very, very comfortable there. And although it's not the best preparation when you're named on the bench but end up starting, he'll be glad to be involved.
Going backwards
Tipperary.
once.
plucking that out of the skies. About an hour ago, it was raining pretty hard. That was when the players were warming up, but we've had just about every season over the course of the last 3 hours in Swansea. There's Morgan Williams, Kieran Williams. Morgan Williams, Sakakaketi.
Tackle!
Almost 10 minutes into the match, still looking for our first points. That was Harry Deems, another of those players who has recommitted himself to the Ospreys cause. Walsh that time, taking play inside the 22. Harry Deems, who will get through so much work today. Oh dear, the ball going loose, and at some point it went forward.
And this is one of the Ospreys' biggest challenges, I think, moving forward, and how they take their game to the next level. They are good at applying pressure, particularly close line, but around here and trying to shift the ball, they get quite narrow in attack. And we talked pre-game about Keelan Giles. Can we get him more touches on the ball? And it's in these instances here where we can get linked up. You know, the Ospreys attack can get a bit more width and get a little bit wider on the ball, and it brings in your likes of Jack Walsh's, Keelan Giles, Matt Potter further out away from all the traffic. So it is a little bit slippery underfoot today, but if Ospreys can shift the ball and get a little bit connected in attack, then we can see some of their fire out wide have a real crack with the ball in hand.
And they've got 2 players involved today whose only preparation have been a couple of captain's runs, looking at Boshoff in the midfield, Sakakaketi at lock, both in crucial positions. Here's Doak. Long pass off the left hand, but referee in the perfect position to see that that was forward.
I like the ambition.
Scrum.
But I think we saw that from up here. That was forward.
This push straight.
So that we're not in front of them, then it's easier for them to go around us.
Okay. Scrum Ospreys.
The look there of the man who knows he was guilty.
We need more space probably. Yeah, find it.
Don't need reminding, Craig. It's 18 years since Ulster stuck something new into the trophy cabinet, although it's worth reminding ourselves that this place may not have happy memories for you, but for Ulster fans it does. Certain David Humphreys kicked a drop goal, went in off both cushions right at the end, a couple of minutes before the end, which clinched the Celtic League title.
That's right. Serious operator, yes. David Humphreys.
You have to keep the pressure.
Serious goal kicker as well.
40-metre drop goal it was.
Don't take
he could do it all. Brother's a good player as well. Played a lot with Ian Humphreys. Really good attacking 10. We'll not talk about him defensively.
That's a little bit unkind. Saw him play quite a bit at Leicester as well, didn't we?
Yes, that's right. He'll probably tell you that himself.
Yes, I remember one of the big selection calls that Alan Clark had to make was for the Heineken final, when David Humphreys was the director of rugby, and he dropped David's brother. That was to bring in Paddy Jackson in, I think it was just about his first season when they were beaten by Leinster at Twickenham. Do you remember that, Craig?
That's right, yeah. I was playing in that game. I started that game, 2012, Heineken Cup final. That was Brian McLaughlin was the head coach. And that was a late change. Yeah, Jacko in instead of Ian Humphreys. Not the result I would have wanted, but a good experience.
Keelan Giles, solid underneath that one. Good chase coming from Ulster.
Use it.
No, you're right, it wasn't Alan Clark, was it? Remember, I was the poor fellow who had to interview him straight after the match and ask him if he'd made the wrong decision at fly half, because it wasn't one of Paddy Jackson's best days.
No, that's right. Jacko didn't have his best game that day.
Morgan Williams just hooking it away. So, still 0-0 through almost 14 minutes.
I think what Gareth was saying about the Ospreys wanting to play it a bit more width, it's the same with Ulster, and it's been talked about before the season, and they want to play a bit more of an expansive brand of rugby, especially with this new pitch. But we're still the second lowest, averaging the second lowest team to take the ball to width, which is which isn't great as fans, and especially when you see the URC, the top try scorers. You know, 3 of them are hookers. Macker van der Merwe, Tom Stewart, and the Glasgow hooker. Remind me of his name, Johnny Harries, I think.
Isn't it?
Johnny Matthews, yes.
Pudlian with a Scottish accent.
That's right. That's right. So in terms of a spectator sport, you know, I'd like to see a bit more on rugby. And I'm glad Nathan Doak had a crack there inside his own 22. It's just unfortunate it was forward.
Bind.
But
Set.
So here is Ruben Morgan-Williams. Once again, look at that, the power coming from that Ospreys scrum. Williams feeds the ball out there from Edwards. Here's Walsh. Back into Keelan Giles, has come over from his left wing. Just inside the... Edwards letting that slip, but he went backwards, says the referee. So the Ospreys will have to rebuild again.
There's always one.
Here's Walsh. Prothero. And Kieran Williams. Well, the ball was behind him, but he was just trying to cut a line there and get away before he got hold of it.
Yeah, nice to see the Ospreys, though, come alive. Again, we've seen the efficiency of the Ospreys scrum pressure with Tom Botha and Nicky Smith. And a nice little break out wide. And again, it's just those little 1%ers, those little passes at the end. But nice to see the Ospreys try to get a little bit of width in their game. And that's where we can see the likes of Prothero with those arcing runs, Jack Walsh. Can we see them get the ball to Keelan Giles? But I don't think we're going to go far away from the Ospreys at scrum time, trying to apply massive pressure. They've already had a few turnovers there, so they'll be pleased with that.
Okay. So they've got the medics on once more. 16 minutes gone, still waiting for our first score. We've seen Dan Edwards miss an opportunity. There's nobody better, certainly in Swansea today, to talk about place kicking under pressure. Gareth, yeah, but let's go back to that moment. I was there in Bloemfontein, July 2022. Wales had never beaten South Africa in South Africa. Now, don't tell me that wasn't on your mind.
Yeah, it feels like a bit of a blur now, to be honest, but it was a bit of a whirlwind last 15 minutes, really. We were sort of staying in the fight, and we had kicked a couple of penalties, and yeah, look, I think it was Josh Adams in the corner, wasn't it? Nice little...
What was going through your head, though? You try and shut out all the white noise?
Yeah, there was a fair bit of abuse there, but luckily there was a lot of Welsh fans behind me, and my initial memory seeing Neil Jenkins behind me raise his arms, so yeah, one to remember. But yeah, special weekend for Welsh rugby, and you know, it's nice that you can contribute to those moments, and when you've had those long injury runs, those are the sort of memories that you look back on and think it was all worth it.
the hole was actually here for Addison. The pass was just put behind him by Jude Postlethwaite, you know. Decent setup and attack, but similar to the Ospreys, just those little 1%ers. That final pass is not on the money, and a lot of turnovers.
One or two suggestions that Will Addison may well be moving back to his old patch in the suburbs of Manchester next season. There he is. He's had so many injury issues, broken leg, one or two other problems. Made the move over from Sale initially to try and launch his test match career. He has earned 5 caps for Ireland, but there is a suggestion that he's had a calling to go back home.
Set.
I think he's already in the 100 cap club with Sale, isn't he? So if so, we would just be adding to that.
No, you said you're going left.
The pick up there from Morgan Morse, just getting rid of it to Morgan Williams. The tackle coming in there from Nick Timoney, one of those players released by the Ireland squad.
Not clear enough.
Nick's been having a fantastic season, included in Andy Farrell's Six Nations squad. Really, really well deserved. Carried so well on the try-scoring sheet down in Leinster and really having a super season.
One of the problems, I guess, in Ireland is that there are about 3 or 4 guys who wear 8 on their back for their provinces, who are all playing at a test level. Gavin Coombs, who we saw scoring a couple of tries just down the road at Llanelli on Friday night, he's another of those, isn't he?
That's right, he is, yeah, and he was Munster captain as well at the weekend there, so a super performance
White on the line
as captain, yeah. But there's a wealth of back rows, certainly in the Ireland squad, but I suppose Ireland's loss is Ulster's gain. It's good to see Nick Timoney today.
Once again, Tipperick was the selection there. Kieran Williams going hard and straight. There's Morgan Williams. Well,
play on.
The Ospreys looking to play with tempo, but lacking that bit of precision.
Taking in.
Back there from Andrew.
Hold, no, 12.
Getting
Stop.
a hold of enough of that. Kick, which in the end worked out rather well.
Yeah.
You'd think Toby Booth would be a little bit frustrated with that. It's a nice little start, and it's a go-to one for the Ospreys. You're in Kieran Williams. He's so effective on that out-to-in line. He's so, diminutive, but so powerful. And just coming around the corner there, I think Morgan Morse, just that timing that, unfortunately, didn't quite clean that up.
Let's pop down the pitch side. Claire, what do you got for us?
Well, I'm down pitch side with attack coach Rich Fussell, who I imagine is feeling a little frustrated at the moment because flow is proving hard to come by. What's that down to?
It's just a little bit of inaccuracy on our part at the minute. You can see the intent is there from us to try and break you, but at the moment, it's just a little bit of inaccuracy costing us, so we don't have the ability to build those phases that we want in the right areas of the field. But we are in the right areas of the field. It's about converting that pressure.
You absolutely are, and your scrum is clicking nicely, which Sasso's pre-game would have predicted might not be the case. How well are the front row acquitting themselves?
Yeah, the boys obviously have played quite a fair bit of rugby together now over the course of the season, so that cohesiveness is there with them. So for us, it's just making sure we create the right pitches for the ref to see, and that's just trying to continue with our dominance in that area.
Thanks so much for your time and insight. Good luck with the rest of the match.
No worries, thank you very much.
Okay.
Did Ulster not get the memo of the origin for the socks?
Haven't quite joined the party in that respect, have they?
Maybe a half-time change.
Craig, one thing, also known for John Cooney at 9, typically a great goal kicker. I think, would Nathan Doak be the goal kicker today for Ulster?
Yes, I think so. Nathan is a high percentage goal kicker as well. Now, he hasn't played a whole lot since today, Gareth. I think his last start was Bath away. Yeah. So hasn't played a load, but if the kicking duties are needed today, I think Nathan will be the kicker, absolutely.
Andrew finds his jumper. This is promising for Ulster, their best field position of the match so far.
7, don't change.
He's still got it as the hooker.
Don't change.
Doak just giving a couple of slaps across the back. Justin Tipperick proving quite a nuisance. McElroy comes off his wing. They're within 5 metres. There's Doak once more. On to Andrew. Harry Deeves with an important tackle.
Play on, not on the ball.
Well, Doak was just fumbling it there, but he went backwards. There's Doak once more. That's Flannery.
Rock.
Ulster showing plenty of patience. On to the captain that time, Henderson.
Advantage.
Referee's playing a penalty advantage.
4 on the wrong side.
Well, 22 minutes gone. No score.
I
Well, the kick pass and Stockdale. Oh, he couldn't gather it. Well, it was quick thinking.
Come on, please.
The execution was close to perfect. It may still be worth a look.
No, to me, looks inside because I was in line. Okay. So?
I haven't got a grind in.
I have not.
I think Jack Walsh may have just done enough there.
So this is on the field, she's not try.
We've seen Ulster already this season be quite innovative in the 22, going to some constructed tap kicks. So obviously Mines is either play, but he's just picked up Jacob Stockdale on the wing here and potentially got a freebie. Whether Jack Walsh has managed to get underneath him enough just to disrupt this. I think he's just dropped that, has he?
Just gone through the bread basket.
I think Jack Walsh has done just enough just to blindside the ball. You can see coming in there, it's on. It's well picked up. Just unfortunate. I think Jack Walsh has managed to sort of confuse Stockdale enough for an opportunity to go big in there, but it was well spotted there.
No corner goal.
I love the ambition from Ulster and from Jake Flannery. You don't see that a lot these days, but if the defensive team's asleep, it can be, as you say, Gareth, absolute freebie.
I think already actually Ulster have identified that Ospreys are quite narrow in defence. They come up with a fair bit of line speed, and it is wet, so they can cause some pressure with it and get some errors. But they've caught them twice now on an edge, one being a forward pass, unfortunately. But even that cross kick, I think it's something maybe we might see turn out later in this game, is how Ulster try and exploit some of that space.
There goes Timoney. Straight into Sakakakati. tackle there on Jake Flannery. There's Henderson. Being held up by Nicky Smith.
Ball is available.
Addison. On again from Castle-Thwaite. He does like a flat pass, doesn't he?
Well, it's just what we said too. The space is there, isn't it? But the Ospreys are challenging them with their line speed. They're saying there is a space to get there, but are also good enough to get the ball through their hands. And at the moment, they actually cause a fair bit of turnovers because of it. So there's another opportunity there. But both teams have I think, found a way to try and stop each other's attack. But also have definitely found a little bit of space out wide, definitely.
Had Stockdale slightly overrun that one, Craig.
I think if you see the player inside you getting pressure on, you should naturally go close to them if it's going to be a quick hands or a short pass. But at the same time, you know, Jude is playing at this level. He needs to understand if it's not on, you don't force it. That's when errors happen. If it's not on, you see someone coming in your periphery or blindsiding you, just hold the ball, recycle it, go a phase later.
Bind.
Going back to the near miss involving Jack Walsh.
Stand up.
And Jacob
Closing the
Stockdale.
space.
It was a bit like the first slip, wasn't it? Diving across the second slip, forcing almost the drop.
More sides.
I think the role of, in the end, Jack Walsh, who touched nothing, proved to be quite important.
Yeah, well, he did enough. As we were talking about it there, the Ospreys guys were probably just a little bit asleep, but Jack did enough. As Gareth said, maybe didn't touch the ball, but did enough to cut the ball out of Jacob's eye line and make it difficult for him to catch. You know, in such a low-scoring game, that could prove really helpful.
Set.
Duncan Jones, you can see down there on one knee. Well, this has become quite a feature of this opening 25 minutes. Toby Booth will be enjoying that. Morgan Williams. Good carry there from the scrum half. Now, can they produce it? Dan Edwards steps in to play scrum half. Kieran Williams had to be sharp to pick that up around about his bootlaces.
Okay. It's fine. Coming from the side, coming there.
We're going to come back for the penalty, scrum penalty.
It's nice to see the Ospreys playing though, off the back of clearly, you know, a bit of a free shot. Probably talking about, you know, some of these South Africans just coming in and fitting in with their relationships. You can see a hole's on actually here for Avadi Boshoff, but he probably just misses his slot. Unfortunately, it makes Ruben Williams have to turn the corner and carry, but they can just tidy up those little accuracies. They've created a few opportunities there, but that's probably the difference with these South Africans just slipping in and having to play straight away. It's a great kick by Dan Edwards.
That's fine.
That would please Toby Booth nothing more than having a real crack at that. And this is what the Ospreys game's all about: set piece pressure, going to the corner, and really turning this into points, turning the screws here. It's a fantastic kick from Dan to having a crack.
These young fellas, they've got no nerves, have they?
Let's go. Ulster on the line.
Free shot is lovely. It's great to see. You know, backing yourself, backing your process and having a go at it.
Alteration coming from Ulster.
Okay,
on is Scott Wilson.
Off comes big Marty Moore.
Yes, he's had a tough time over the last couple of years with a knee injury.
No, away!
Had felt he was starting to get back to his best. And that's an injury-forced departure.
No. Yeah, it's through the middle. It's through the middle.
Ruben Morgan Williams just trying to wrestle the ball clear. He does. This is Prothero. Prothero with the offload. That was to Kieran Williams. Here's Harry Deeves once more. Deeves powering his way forward.
I got it.
Statistically, Ulster concede the most tries after 7 phases. So if Ospreys can just hold on to the ball here.
Boshoff taking it into the contact. Here's Morgan Morse.
Leave.
On to Edwards once more. Jack Walsh. Well, he's lost the ball there as Morgan Williams. Nathan McElroy was straight through on that. They've got to rebuild again, have the Ospreys, from outside the Ulster 22. Carry that time from Rati.
Back.
Here's Kieran Williams playing scrum half. Harry Deeves once more,
tackle,
being held
knee
up.
On the ground.
Ratty. Well, at the moment, this Ulster defence showing no sign of fracturing. Edwards, Williams, Walsh tries to inject some pace straight into Postlethwaite.
Really impressed with Ulster's D here in this passage.
And after conceding 95 points over the course of 2 matches in the Champions Cup, there will have been a call to improve that. Edwards with a kick, but well, he's asking too much of Justin Tipuric, and he's been asking too much of Craig McElroy.
Well, just like Craig said too, actually.
5 around the neck.
They've had a great D set, considering Ospreys started 5 out. They've ended 30 metres back.
Around the neck, I tackle.
But like Craig said, if the Ospreys just look after the ball, Ulster have tended to give away some penalties with their discipline, which will frustrate Dan McFarlane, because really they got on top defensively there. Ospreys had a little bit of go forward, but once the ball went backwards from Ruben, they were under a fair bit of pressure and going nowhere really. You could see that attack got really narrow again, and that's a real work on for them. But they get a chance now to finally get some points on the board after a bit of sustained pressure, which will at least please them.
Ian Henderson, who had 20 minutes off the bench last weekend against Italy in Dublin.
Over there in the corner. Yeah, we can carry on now and we think after the kick. It's instant.
So, young Dan Edwards has an opportunity to atone for his earlier miss. I think if there's a lesson from the opening 29 minutes, it's that when you get an opportunity to get points, take them. Almost a snap hook. Edwards knows it.
The result's the same though, it doesn't matter, does it? Flags are raised, so every please. Ospreys need to, after a little bit of sustained pressure though, you know, after 30 minutes. They've had a few injuries now to the 22, so at least walking away with some points. But you just see Ian Henderson coming off now, so a big bit of leadership just gone from this Ulster squad, and 2 of their packs, starting pack, already coming off. So some injury worries to worry about for Ulster.
It's on side for me.
So Cormac Ezechukwu is on. Edwards, who opened the scoring, now fires the ball into touch. The far side bathed in sunshine. Hasn't been too much of that around in West Wales this year.
Black on the line. Yes,
I would know. I live in Belfast, so pass to Gareth.
I was in Dubai a couple of weeks ago, and since I've been back, it has not stopped raining, so it's nice to see a bit of sunshine here.
You've had enough sunshine. There's a Chukwu straight into action.
He's a phenomenal player, serious athlete. Hasn't featured much for Ulster this season, but playing a lot of club rugby for Ballinahenge.
That's once!
But can certainly cause danger with ball in hand.
There's a Chukwu, just 24. There's the carry forward from young Jude Postlethwaite.
Slowly the ball, number 10.
Postlethwaite having just his 2nd ever start for Ulster today.
Play advantage.
He started against the Bulls at home back at the start of the season. He had a really good game, so I'm surprised why he hasn't featured again.
Anderson there with the
Look
offload.
on the tackle there, number 10.
Dan Edwards is the player who's been penalised.
Just see how difficult now. Unfortunately, if you don't win the contact, the collision, and you get stuck on that side, if you don't get out of there quickly, refs will get on top of you. So it's a bit of a freebie here for Ulster. They went to the corner before and turned down a kickable shot. So interesting to see if they back themselves back into the 22. Looks like they're going back to the corner again. They have been so efficient here in the 22. So saying I think they'll really take some confidence from Craig.
Yeah, their red zone efficiency is second only to the Bulls in the league. They don't have that many entries, but when they do, they convert it into points. They'll want to get their maul firing here again, with John Andrew probably eyeing up a try here. Wasn't as successful the maul as last season, but it's certainly a strong point of Ulster's game.
Well, they had to make a late change before kick-off, with Mike Lowry suffering from that hamstring. And now
play the arms.
Avenue on pitch leader. But they also have a penalty.
Play the arm, number 7.
Same again, he'll fire this to within 5 metres.
Jack Walsh eyes went straight to Ethan McElroy there, you know, in case the same thing happened. Fool me once, shame on you sort of thing.
Yeah, you take the line.
Tipperick just catching the arm there of Harry Sheridan. So the call just being confirmed by Andy Warwick to John Andrew. Andrew, look at that. Postlethwaite at the front of the line-out.
Not on the ball.
The pick up there from Dave McCann. The ball being presented, flipped up there by Andrew.
Offside line!
Now within a couple of metres, the referee, you can hear him there just checking on that Ospreys defensive line.
Advantage.
Penalty advantage. Marcus Ray standing over it. Ray with a pick-up. It's there again for Doak. Doak tries to go himself. Still a metre out. Once more there for Ray. Oh, and they're through this time.
Try.
The first try of the match. And it goes to Ulster.
Marcus will be delighted with that. Not known for his try-scoring abilities, more for his turnovers and jackals, being able to steal ball. But he hasn't featured much for Ulster these last couple of seasons, so he'll be very happy with that.
You know, Ospreys initially do really well here to force him down the front, and it's tough to regenerate here from the front, usually when this happens. But Ulster do tremendously well, just overpowering them. Just getting a pre-latch on when they can and cleaning past the ball. And Ospreys look a little bit powerless to stop that. They'll frustrate them a little bit. That's a little bit too easy for Toby Booth-Lycan, I'd imagine.
Yeah, a couple of seasons ago, Marcus Ray, there was none better on the floor in the URC.
Yeah, that's right.
But he's been passed by one or two others since, including his brother.
That's right, yes. And also another player, Sean Raffel, one of Ulster signings. He had a bad injury there, was out for about a year, but he came back and he played against Leinster and he had a super game, you know. But I suppose there's only so many that can fit into the one team.
Justin, make sure when you tackle, you don't start on your knee before you make the tackle. Oh, right. Yeah, have a look, please.
So Ulster in front, 7 points to 3. In sight of half-time, there's the try scorer. Bit of a shame they're not wearing the club socks. It is the round of origin. Marcus Ray starting his rugby career at the famous Ballymena club, the club of the great Willie John.
That's right.
Not on the ball.
And Sid Miller.
Sid Miller as well, yes. Big name in not just Ulster Rugby, but of course British and Irish Lions, Sid Miller.
And a host of others, I'm sure.
Backwards.
So here goes Morgan Morse. Be wary when he has a bit of space and a head of steam.
Let's look on side for me.
That was Ratty that time.
Advantage, off feet, play it.
Another penalty advantage.
Go off feet when you got the ball.
Now the penalty straight in front, 40 metres out. We've only seen 10 points inside the first 35 minutes. You take the points, don't you, Gareth?
You'd like to think so, but
you'd be grabbing hold of the ball, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Depends who's kicking.
Some of these youngsters tend to go for the corner these days, don't they? But no, I think the Ospreys just need to get themselves back and, you know, get back on the scoreboard here after conceding that try. They've struggled with this part of the field in their attack, particularly getting into the 22. We spoke about obviously pre-game, but I think what would be frustrating for McFarland is the fact also just giving away some silly penalties here. You know, there's not much to do there, and hopefully the Ospreys can turn this into another 3 points. But at least they're starting to sustain some pressure now, and hopefully turn it into some points.
So Dan Edwards, we've had one miss, one almost duck hook, which somehow glanced in off the upright, and now we've got one out of the middle. He's up on his toes this time, is Dan Edwards.
Yeah, okay.
I think Ospreys will be reasonably pleased with the scoreboard if they can get to half-time with this, knowing that they score predominantly most of their points in the last 20, and Ulster statistically are at their best in the first half. So I think the Ospreys will be reasonably pleased if they can jump into the sheds at half-time with this sort of scoreboard.
Tipperick with the catch.
No!
3 months to the day since he broke that thumb, requiring surgery. In the defeat
no, make the contact,
along the M4 at the Dragons, which I think it's fair to say was the Ospreys' low point so far this season.
Use it!
Ruben Morgan-Williams being urged to use it by the referee. Will Addison climbs, Keelan Giles. There goes Timoney with a carry.
Leave 6!
Flannery. That is a Chukwu.
Bit of space here on the edge for Ulster if they can move it through the hands.
Addison getting it through the hands nicely that time. There's the try scorer, Marcus Ray. Through goes Flannery. Arm is out from the referee.
Not release first.
Little chip over the top. Sheridan's going after it.
Assisted tackle. Not release first.
Probably Ulster's best passage of attack, you'd say, Craig. I think they've just put themselves under a little bit of pressure with how flat they are out wide. I think they've connected well with that space. They've swept late, but just put themselves under a little bit of pressure with that final couple of passes, just with how flat they are out wide.
Yep, yeah, Gareth, you're definitely right about that space on the edge. As we saw, it was there, and Jude didn't shovel any nonsense ball this time around. They kept it in their hands, which was good, which I'd like to see a bit more. But yes, I agree with you. Probably too flat. You know, a little bit more depth off it, and the space is there.
So another good field position. The catch there from Harry Sheridan. Marcus Ray fancies another. He slipped the ball back there to Andrew. Andrew having just his second start of the season. That was Postlethwaite.
Ball is available.
They're within 10 metres. We're inside the final minute of the first half. Crucial for the Ospreys here to keep the men in white out. Doak. There's Flannery floating it over the top. McElroy getting wrapped up that time. There is Andrew once more. No splinters in the defence yet, and the pass shoveled on. And the Ospreys have it. And they will want to just take their time and get it out.
Yeah, time is over there.
Referee confirming time is up. And it's Jack Walsh who fires it into touch. And the end of an intriguing 40 minutes at the Swansea.com. Thumbs up there from Jack Walsh. The only try of the match so far coming from Ulster. But 2 penalties off the boot of Dan Edwards are keeping it tight.
Good tight heads in my time, but in terms of scrummaging ability, I don't think I've ever come across someone that gets more penalties or rewards at a scrum time. He is exceptional at scrum time. You talk to him about it and he gets pretty excited. He really truly loves it. So he's not the most mobile as a tight head, but to be fair, not many of them are. But he is exceptional when it comes to scrum time. So certainly you can see today, you know, the effect he has for the Ospreys, and probably someone that they build their game upon, really. He's about building pressure and the ability he can to convert that into points.
Well, if there is a certain irony about it, it is that Tom Boerter today wearing the socks of the famous Paul Roos School in Stellenbosch, named after the first captain of the Springboks. When they toured the United Kingdom almost 100 years, well, more than 100 years ago, in fact. Sekekate in the thick of the action there for the Ospreys. Ruben Morgan-Williams just getting the ball away. Ulster have got an excellent record against the Welsh teams, just one defeat in the last 4 years, though it is worth pointing out that that loss was here in December 2021.
That's right. I've got an even better one for you. Their last 21 matches against Welsh opposition, they have won 19 of them, and those 2 losses are against the Ospreys, one of which was my 200th cap, which Dan McFarland very generously of him gave me about 3 minutes off the bench.
I could see there was a little twinkle in your eye.
Good 3 minutes though.
Oh, the best.
Hold in front.
Back.
Hold in front. No.
Clearance there from Flannery, straight downfield, one fly after the other.
No.
Here's Dan Edwards, gives a good whack. He's turned Will Addison. And it's worked out quite nicely. Addison looks at the options. Keelan Giles on to Walsh. Here's Prothero. Let's see if he has a bit of a run. It's been a while since he scored a try. That eventful 27 minutes he had at Rodney Parade when he scored a try and then got himself sent off. Here is Tom Boerter trundling his way forward.
And use it.
Morgan Williams takes to the skies.
Tackle!
Good take by Ethan McElroy. I think he's done very well for coming in late, starting late. He's had a super game so far.
And just to underline that point, it's the first time he's played at this level.
Yes, to Nobel.
For 3 months.
His feet.
Was expecting to start from the bench until Mike Lowry was forced to withdraw with that hamstring problem.
Black ball.
That's right, and he looks sharp. Do you know, he's taking his high balls, he's making wee half breaks. He's had a good impact so far.
Yeah, we are inside
the best of a bad bunch.
I think Ulster in the last, we could see just at the end, just for half-time, and even then, definitely finding that they've found a little bit of space and a little bit of width in their attack. More in the middle of the field, going out the back of those forward pods. They should have probably scored before half-time. A great opportunity. Addison noticed an opportunity out the back. Ospreys very tight in defence once again. And I'm sure that's something they've spoken about. Stop giving away some silly penalties in the Ospreys' middle third to give Ospreys some easy ends. But when they have the ball, there's certainly some space out wide. If they can just be a little bit more accurate with linking up, they could definitely cause Ospreys some problems, I think.
On the subject of that potential move away from the Swansea.com, I took a bit of a drive on the way to the ground today past St Helens, which is what, about 10 or 15 minutes away from where we are now.
Anyway.
Famous rugby ground. Ghosts of some great Welsh rugby players have been there, but I guess those with a handle on sporting history will say that the single moment of sporting history with which it's most associated, a certain West Indian cricketer, Sir Garfield Sobers. First time we saw 6 sixes in a cricket match. Poor old fellow Malcolm Nash was the other player involved in that. He was the one who bowled them.
Leave White! 8 off your feet!
Famous sporting venue, who knows, it could be back on the URC map in the next year or two. Morgan Williams. Will Addison rises underneath it, takes it well.
Tackle!
Here it is for Doak. Soft hands from Harry Sheridan.
Backwards.
Jacob Stockdale fumbling it not once but twice. There's Andrew. The black jerseys are swarming, they're in numbers.
Leave, release.
Andrew's done all right though.
Stay on your feet.
Minor crisis averted for Ulster.
Tackle, knee on the ground.
And Ulster get the penalty.
Get out of jail free there, I think, with that
penalty. On the wrong side.
Again, it's the same thing, isn't it? A little bit of space wider out. They've identified it, and they're just some silly little passes, just haven't been able to link up. But there's plenty of space there I think the Ospreys really need to understand they need to get some width in defence here, because off their kick chase, they're getting really close to each other around the breakdown, and 2 passes has taken out 5 or 6 defenders, and suddenly the likes of Keelan Giles and Matt Prothero have about 40 yards of space to defend with only another defender with them. So Ulster just need to clean this up here. It's probably been the difference so far at the moment, really, the difference between Ulster getting out in front and building a nice lead and keeping the Ospreys in this game at the moment.
Lannery pumps it high. Walsh puts it down.
13 in the air. 13 in the air.
Came off the hands of James Hume.
A good option this though by Ulster. You know, how often do we see teams just go down to a stand and give pop to the 9 and we box kick? Teams are pretty comfortable getting back from there, but a nice little variation there. Kick in these conditions, it's the greasy ball with Hume and Addison firing through on Jack Walsh. It's a tough kick, isn't it, Craig, to defend when you're sort of stuck on the ball in the backfield and you have 2 or 3 guys coming from every angle. That really does create a 50-50.
Absolutely, and it's a real strength of Ulster's and has been over the last better part of a decade, and it's just been reversed here, and Ulster getting the put in. They are very good at timing the kick, whether that's Billy Burns, Jake Flannery, John Cooney, Nathan Doak, and getting up and contesting in the air, because, as you say, Gareth, even if you don't catch that cleanly, it's a 50-50, and it could come back onto your side.
You have to stand there, please. Let's go.
James Hume responsible for the knock-on there. Where's he these days? Because he's been a regular starter. I think he's only missed a couple of matches this season, but he went on the tour, didn't he, of New Zealand when Ireland won 2 tests to 1. He picked up a nasty groin injury when he was on tour. Where's he now?
That's right. James Hume is a very popular member of the squad. He's a super rugby player. He lives and breathes rugby. He's been playing it since he was yay high. Very talented, but he has been a bit injury-stricken these last number of seasons, particularly with his groin on that tour with Ireland. So
leave it on timing for me.
Well, Walsh there with a kick. Will Addison, it was following through. That could have gone anywhere.
To Noves. Advantage, knock on by
it's there for Andrews, the referee playing an advantage here. The knock on threaded through there by Will Addison. Oh, and who's got there? I think it was an Osprey who maybe got the touch. Has been carried back though, so it's going to be a 5-metre scrum.
Got a feel for Tom both with their hands on his knees. He's had another immense scrum. Nicky Smith, Sam Perry and Tom both, they're really experienced front row. Really applying some pressure to Ulster at set piece time here, and Craig, probably something you'd think Ulster would have talked about at half-time, about just trying to make sure that they can look after their own ball at scrum time.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. When you've got Andy Warwick and Marty Moore there in the front row, 2 unbelievable scrummagers, and I know Scotty Wilson is on now, but something you really want to get right and try and avoid as many set-piece penalties as you can, because it just gives the other team certainly access into your half, or either a chance to have a pop a goal or put it in the corner.
Let's just listen in, shall we? There is something being checked on by the television match official, Matteo Liparini.
Yeah. Definitely slapped the ball.
He definitely put the ball down. I think it was for me.
So cynical.
Well, we're looking at the slap.
It's a bit cynical half.
Yeah, to me,
by hate.
So what we got is good turnover by Ulster, and number 8 Black slapped the ball and killed a good opportunity for line break for us. This will be a penalty kick and yellow card. Just confirm the start, please.
The Ospreys are going down the 14 here, and it's Morgan Morse who's going to leave us.
Yes, over there at the breakdown, when they stole the ball, you slap, deliberate the ball, the killer could lie, putting it to yellow card. Cynical.
Nick it really hasn't. He's just got the timing wrong, slapped it down. It's been done for a cynical offence, I suppose, but maybe a silly penalty. You can see what he's trying to do. It's almost just clumsy more than anything.
No, we have to take option from him.
He's had quite a few weeks as Morgan Morse. That fantastic solo effort along the M4 at Bridgend against Cardiff, and then again in the win at altitude at Ellis Park in that Challenge Cup victory against the Lions. And he also scored against Scotland a fortnight ago in the Under-26 Nations.
On the line.
See Tom Stewart's just come on here now, Craig. This is
it's try time.
one of his specialties.
It is, yeah. Unbelievable try scoring record last season for Ulster. And it's going well again this season. And he'll probably want to add that in the next 30 seconds.
Well, he's got 6 league tries already this season as Tom Stewart. +1 in continental competition. First Victor's work. Cormac is a Chukwu with the catch.
Working on that side.
Well, Nathan Doak is there, but I don't think there's much chance of him really seeing it. He's doing the steering job, and Stewart is there in the brilliant white jersey, and he got it down, although the referee is saying he's held it up.
Is he inside the goal line? So he's allowed to stay. He's inside the goal line, so he's allowed to stay on the ground, so goal line dropout.
Well, the referee decides it's a goal line dropout. Might be worth another look.
Did he just lose the downward
Let's
pressure?
go Ospreys.
Looked a bit like it, didn't it?
Harry Deeves has done tremendously well just to stay under him just long enough to buy him a second.
Jack Walsh with the clearance. There's Doak. There goes Nick Timoney. On there to Harry Sheridan.
Leave!
At
Not
lock
the 9.
again. He's played quite a lot of his rugby in the back row. There's Addison with the long pass out. Chance here for Stockdale.
Back.
With that one-man advantage, Ulster will be keen to make something of it. They've got a penalty. Well, Stewart's in a hurry, but he will want
number 10.
that ball fired into the corner.
Number 10, rolling to the 9.
Sustained pressure now for Ulster, and Ospreys have already won in the bin, have to be careful now. We know this is a real Ulster strength is their dominance, particularly once they get 5-10 out from the goal line. We know with Tom Stewart on what they're probably going to look to do with the last line-out entry. Ospreys really need to clean up their discipline here.
It's a silly penalty from Dan Edwards, isn't it? It's, you know, they just at this stage of the game and with the points the way they are, they can't be giving Ulster such easy access. They're just going to maul this as close as they can now and then round the corner and hopefully get another score similar to Marcus.
Usually the best kick towards the corner.
Wide to ground.
Making life a little bit easier for the Ospreys. There goes Tom Stewart. Scott Wilson trundling his way forward. They're inside the penalty box. The Ospreys down a man.
Good work.
The alarm bells starting to ring. Oh, and the pass from Flannery was inaccurate. You could see Hume was looking for it. Harry Deeves with a yellow headgear. They've got the penalty. Inaccuracy from Ulster. Will that come back to bite them?
Well, off it.
Just not accurate enough in attack. Do you know, they're well set up here. They've plenty of time. I don't know if it's a communication thing, or I don't know if Jake has sided, James Hume, had Ethan McElroy and acres of space on the right-hand side as well. Chance gone begging.
Harry Deeves has actually been really impressive. More so in his own 22 is just urgency to get off the line and try and make something happen. Whether it's at Mould, he put a great shot on Henderson, I think, in the first half, come around the corner.
Stop for White.
And even there, getting a big turnover. A new contract extension as well for Harry, so he's a really good boy, actually. You know, Wales have got a plethora of back row talent, but Deevesy will never let you down. He's a bundle of energy and certainly punches above his weight.
Over there.
Well, Ulster have got one more man on the pitch, and it's not bad when you can call on from the bench a two-time World Cup winner, Stephen Kitsoff. Catch there from Tipperick. And they get the penalty to the Ospreys.
Jumping across.
Indiscipline at the wrong times now from Ulster. And for the Ospreys, it's almost a funereal march, keeping an eye on the clock until they get their man back.
Yeah, they'll be glad to get out of their own half, won't they, here, the Ospreys? It seems to have been all Ulster this second half.
Well, look at the Ospreys. I think they'll stop for a picnic.
Yeah. Sorry?
Biggest thing in the air there on the line out.
Okay.
It is a slow march.
Yeah.
There's Morgan Morse.
You think part of this is just to wind down the clock, you think, Martin, with Morgan Morse in the sin bin. There's still a few more minutes trying to wind down the clock just before they get him back on and get back to 15.
Oh, they've gone short. That was to James Ratty. Tipperick. Here's Nicky Smith.
On the ball.
Morgan Williams looking to get his hands on Trent. Penalty advantage here. Sam Barry. Arm is still out there from the referee. Stewart flopping over the side of the ruck. And there we have it, straight in front. And Dan Edwards
Time off, captain.
gets his hands on the ball. There's a warning coming now.
In a couple of minutes, we got Sirinov jumping across, not running away, and also obviously there.
It's pretty easy going for the Ospreys, in fairness. I think this is really poor from Ulster.
Yes, time off. You can change.
I think Ospreys have really had too much dominance from their set piece in terms of off the line out, any much go forward. They've only had to go 2 phases there, look after the ball, and Ulster just give them a silly penalty and a chance for the Ospreys to get in front. But it's really poor from Ulster. There's not much going on here for the Ospreys. They just need to keep their line intact. They know the longer the Ospreys have the ball, the more chance they'll probably get it back, and it's just a silly penalty.
2 consecutive silly penalties, marched Ulster the whole way up the pitch. And in such a low-scoring game like this, you know, our discipline has to be better.
So, Dan Edwards, 2 from 3. Can he make it 3 from 4? And in fairly unlikely circumstances, take the Ospreys in front. Head down, straight through the seam. And the Ospreys score the first points of this second half.
Really important now, the Ospreys just consolidate a little bit, make sure they clear their lines. Morgan Morse be coming onto the field soon, but really key now. They take this kick off, clear their lines, and get back out of the pressure.
There's Kieran Williams, just gets it away in time. There's a lot at stake here. A win for Ulster would see them jump alongside Benetton in the share of 4th spot if it's a 4-point league points win. As for the Ospreys, they themselves, depending on the losing bonus point situation, could leapfrog Ulster into the top 8.
Go straight.
That's right, it's an important match on both sides. So tight mid-table.
There goes Stewart. Doak onto Postlethwaite again. Good little step there coming from Jake Flannery. Stewart once more, just trying to power his way forward. Onto Flannery once more. Now the Ospreys playing with additional tempo, and Jacob Stockdale has had one of those horrible moments for a wing.
No, he'll not want to see that back. He won't want Andy Farrell to see that either. You know, if he wants to put his hand up for Irish selection, we're going to need to see better from Jacob. He'll be disappointed himself with that. You know, 9 times out of 10 he'll catch that pass. Unfortunately for him.
We take your time because
when we're comparing the 2 attacks so far, it's probably fair to say I think Ulster create the most opportunities and probably looked a bit more threatening, but they're just the accuracy in that final third, just as they create something, it's been so disappointing. And then their discipline on the other side of the ball just allowed Ospreys to stay in the fight. And I think that's what the Ospreys would have been talking about, just stay in the fight, and the longer they stay in it with the young side at home, I think their confidence will grow. So it just feels that you need to see someone grab this game by the scruff of the neck here. Both teams teetering, more maybe play not to lose it rather than to win the game. And just feels like someone just needs to take hold of this.
Yeah, I mean, one side of me, I'm glad to see Ulster taking it into the widths, you know, because as we were saying in the first half, statistically, they probably have the 2nd worst rate at going wide against other teams. So
black.
I'm glad that they are trying and showing that ambition to go wide, but the other half of me is we're making such silly errors on the edge.
Number 4 black, on number 10 white.
Right.
Well, you can see the officials are taking a look at something on the big screen. The television match official, Matteo Lipperini.
Yeah, exactly.
He's clearly stepped and sticks his leg out.
He clearly lost. So Matteo, to me, Luki, a clear trip by 4 black, because you know, chance to take a player.
Trip
so look for play and trip, and 4 black going on the pin to me. I agree.
Oh dear, it's not good news for James Ratty.
Clear trip.
And Ratty's going off. And now the Ospreys are down to 13.
Where's the mark, Matteo?
Well, the good news for a rather glum-looking Toby Booth is it's only about 75 seconds before Morgan Morse is back, but it does mean there is going to be virtually a 20-minute stretch for the Ospreys when they have just 14 men on the pitch.
It's a much better kick from Flannery, though. We've seen them really have a crack there. The difference between a 5-metre maul and a 10-metre maul is just absolutely massive at this level. So I'm sure the Ulster's forwards will be much happier with them there.
Time on.
Well, let's see how Tom Stewart goes this time. Came very close in the same corner just a few minutes ago. And he finds Harry Sheridan. And Stewart's got it in his mitts. And it's heading in the right direction, and this could be expensive for the Ospreys. And it's over. And this time, Ulster's electric matchstick comes away with the score. His 8th try of the season, 7 of those coming in the URC. And now Ulster have the lead again.
A good finish from Tom. Not the most glamorous way to score a try, obviously, but it is one of Ulster's strengths. And you've got to stick at what you're good at, I suppose. That's Roddy Grant's area. The maul has been a really good point for us over the last couple of years. Really good point for Ulster. Just need Doki to nail this kick here.
Well, it's a 3-point lead.
Yep.
Can Nathan Doak make it worth 5? Well, what a strike that was. 1 or 2 solitary cheers from Ulster fans. I did notice a few Ulster accents around the ground about an hour before kickoff. And there we get the change. It's the last bit of action for Nathan Doak, being replaced by Dave Shanahan. Well, Morgan Morse is back with us. So that brief period with Ulster down to 13, or should I say the Ospreys down to 13. There's the change that's been made at scrum half. He's wearing that brilliant white jersey, Dave Shanahan.
Yeah, David Shanahan, originally from Leinster, has now been with Ulster for just over a decade. Hasn't seen much game time, but will like to get stuck in today. Luke Marshall as well. Came through under-20s with Lukey. Super player, super leader. Loves Ulster, wouldn't want to play anywhere else. Glad to see him featured today.
Tipperick with a catch.
In the 5. Once. Outbound. Let's go. Away.
Into the final quarter of the match. Morgan Williams feeds the ball out. There it is again for the scrum half. On to Tipperick. Nicky Smith. Dan Edwards. Just considering the options, but at the moment, that Ulster defence is proving suffocating, but the arm is out there. So, 14-man Ospreys have got themselves a penalty advantage. They'll chip over the top from Walsh. Well, Hume was back there to claim the catch, so we'll come back for the penalty.
I just spoke with your captain to change your behaviour. We come in there out for another time. You made the right tackle. Yeah.
Well, there you go. And Luke Marshall's only been on a couple of minutes.
He's also offside first.
So now it's 14 against 14, and that rather changes the complexion, Craig.
It does, absolutely. Lucky won't be too happy with that. I mean, he's only been on a couple of minutes and he's straight off again. Ospreys seem to have dealt well with 14 men, even 13. I mean, Ulster only put away one score. Certainly a much more even playing field now, and Ulster will really need to do well to keep the Ospreys out here. A taste of their own medicine.
Yeah, he certainly paid a difference for their Ulster's indiscipline, hasn't it? It's just a team penalty and a high shot, and probably rightly so. Someone needs to go after all the indiscretion so far.
In the 5.
Yeah, absolutely.
4.
Probably just a rush of blood.
Sheridan being told to get out of the way. But it's there with Sam Parry. Morgan Williams. Kieran Williams had to bend his back for that one just a little. Morgan Morse this time. Refreshed and out of the bin. Morgan Williams. On to Justin Tipperick, the talisman.
Ball is available, quick available.
It's still there for the Ospreys. It's a real arm wrestle. The ball is loose and it's picked up by Stewart, who's sitting, there's nobody back at home. Jack Walsh is scuttling across field.
Unbelievable kick.
Well, how close was that to a 50-22? And in the end, it's as good as one because it's taken into touch. And Jack Walsh doesn't want to give the ball up.
Feels like a big momentum shift that. You wonder just that breakdown. Who was that came over and just managed to pop the ball out? You see the Osprey sideline pretty frustrated the fact they didn't get a call there from the ref, but the outcome is a 15-metre line-up back to Ulster.
I suppose a kick is only good as its chase. What a chase.
Let's go down the pitch side. Claire Thomas.
Ian, the conversation we are going to have has changed pretty much every 30 seconds for the last few minutes. What's your assessment of the second half so far?
Yeah, I think we've obviously seen a couple of yellow cards. Discipline's going to be huge. The two things I thought about in my head were discipline and set piece. We saw Ulster score a try from the most top corner and back down here for a yellow card. That'll be the rest. I think potentially trying to even the books a wee bit. That's what the game's going to hinge on. I think set piece and discipline.
I think the next twist or turn is about to happen, so we'll head back up to Martin up in commentary.
Well, Tom Stewart says that might well be the moment. Is it Chukwu? Shanahan getting his hands onto it. Here's the two-time World Cup winner, Stephen Kitsoff. 3 metres out, in the shadow of the post. Can Ulster finish it off? Oh, and it's been nicked there by Walsh. And now Prothero, and it's Edwards, and it's Edwards, and it's a foot race. And Edwards, well, he's running, he's meandering. He's got the support to his right. And Kieran Williams it is who finishes it off.
Literal hand-to-hand stuff.
I tell you what, I thought the Ospreys, it looked like the touch shot might have picked up Harry Deeves to get offside, but the ref let it play. And Flannery just tried to float one over the top. Jack Walsh picks up very well. And some great link play from the Ospreys. I talked about Dan Edwards' pace. I think he got speed wobbles on the track. And Kieran Williams follows it up, but not a nothing. A great try end to end.
Well, he ran out of legs, but He had the presence of mind to see Kieran Williams, who was scuttling up the pitch, to be on his shoulder.
Great support from Kieran Williams, but a super read from Jack Walsh. I mean, they are struggling defensively on the edge. The space is there, so it's make it or bust really for Jack Walsh there, and he's got into the space and read that pass really well.
Also with all the momentum there, and then it's just gone from one silly pass, really forcing it. God, you must be thinking Ulster must be seriously annoyed with themselves at the moment. Just some silly decisions, penalties really hurting them, and the Ospreys are just staying in this. And now big momentum shift, a chance to take the lead.
Well, if you think about 4 minutes before, when the Ospreys were down in Ulster's red zone, to get that ball, Tom sure kick it to length and then just reverse it straight away again. Going to be some tired bodies out there.
I don't think you can understate how well Prothero does under pressure to catch it from Jack, change arms and get an offload away. He's actually there in support as well. Some great bit of work right from the back three to really save the Ospreys, in all honesty. And here we see Alex Cuthbert after a long injury run. I think his first game back in over a year, problems with his calf, and it's great to see him back out there. Hopefully the Ospreys can get him some ball, but you'll see the point of difference he brings to this Ospreys team is his ability to compete in the air. The Ospreys got some small wingers, so the kicking game is always effective with that. So it'll be interesting to see whether they go to Cuthie's wing and put some ball up in the air for him.
Big moment for that fella, big moment for the Ospreys. Alex Cuthbert, his first appearance since playing half an hour off the bench against Scotland in the Six Nations 53 weeks ago. He's had all sorts of calf injury problems. Good to see him back. Let's see how he goes in this final 13 minutes. We've got quite a contest. The Ospreys leading by 2. There's Kieran Williams.
As Ian Henderson said, discipline now is going to be a key part of this last quarter. No silly penalties.
Hold on.
Addison moving underneath it. Takes it well. There you can see the alterations that have been made by the Ospreys. Lewis Lloyd wearing the socks of the great Treorchy Rugby Club under Sam Parry. Little pop pass there looked, shall we say, rather flat. Floated pass from Flannery to Marcus Rowe, who's had a decent afternoon. Score that first try, and look at this, and that's Reece Henry. Well, loose heads can do it all these days. Back goes Hume under pressure from Tipperick. 14 men on the pitch for each side. There are a few more gaps out there, and it's a penalty to the Ospreys.
It's amazing how one try just changes the energy, doesn't it? You just saw from the Ulster turner to kick the ball down the field. Ospreys look down and out. Ulster got all the momentum. One silly pass, and momentum changes that quickly. And I don't know if you could tell on screen, but Alex Cuthbert absolutely smashes that ruck. And with the help of Reece Henry, gets the ball to pop out.
Yeah.
And a real chance now to potentially go and win the game for Ospreys. A 5-metre maul. Both teams really enjoy, you know, being this close to the field. This is where they're probably at their best with their rolling mauls.
What a shift it is in the balance of power in this match. Momentarily, the Ospreys were down to 13, and then the throw goes astray, and there's a little knock on at the tail. Nick Timoney responsible for that. But it's all happening at the Swansea.com.
I think the key is the Ospreys don't need to be too cute here. The Ulster have given away a penalty every time they've gone over 2 or 3 phases. So we've seen a big front row change now for the Ospreys. So it's important the boys coming on for the Ospreys can make sure they keep this platform solid and allow the Ospreys just to look after the ball, because Ulster every time has shown they'll give away some silly penalties.
Yes, Nicky Smith, Sam Parry, Tom Borcher have given away to Ben Warren, Reece Henry and Lewis Lloyd. Stephen Kipsoff, the World Cup winner. ×2 on the loose head side for Ulster. Solid scrum there from the Ospreys, but there's the pressure coming. Tipperick did rather nicely there. Here's Reece Henry. the man with the all-court skills, but now it's the Ospreys who are penalised.
Dive, not try. 16, clean off.
16 points to 14. The Ospreys lead, 10 minutes to go. A place in the top 8 at stake.
7.
Changes coming left, right and centre.
Subs.
Wearing 20, Matty Ray.
Give your mates with you, right? Yeah.
On for his brother, who's had a good afternoon.
Yes, it's the older brother on for the younger one. Marcus Ray with a try scorer. Gives way to Matty.
Back. Happy.
Here's Tom Stewart. Not straight. It's Error City.
It is Error City. Ulster have the worst line of success in the league. Unfortunately, I think they're going to be staying there after today. Luke Marshall back on after a sin bin.
He's been quite a servant, hasn't he, to Ulster?
Crouch.
Oh, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Good friend of mine, good teammates. Shared a lot of memories together, came through together, so don't know how much longer he'll play for, but he gives it his all anytime he puts on an Ulster jersey.
Tipperick with the pick-up. Alex Cuthbert getting dumped there.
I think that's 1-0 to Jacob Stockdale.
2 big men going at it. Stockdale's got under him very well there.
Edwards feeds the ball on to Ratty. Morgan Williams. There's Henry. Who fancies himself as a first receiver now, the replacement loose head. Tipperick.
Rhys Henry has been super since he's come on, hasn't he? I mean, he put in that kick early on once he came off the bench, and he's carried really, really well. I really like when players, they carry, if it's not on, they don't force it. Just carry the ball, recycle it, go a phase later. He's been really impressive.
Morgan Williams with a slightly abbreviated follow-through. It's picked up by Ratty.
Just as Gareth said about Alex Cuthbert getting in the air, challenge it. We haven't really seen that from Prothero or Keelan Giles, but Cuthbert being a big man, able to get up and contest, make it a 50-50, gets the ball back.
That's Warren. Oh dear. Lewis Lloyd couldn't gather it. Referee playing a knock-on advantage here to Ulster. Out there from Flannery to Hume. Hume holds the ball up for Addison. Referee says the advantage is over. It's a good carry. Good continuity this from Ulster. Now, perhaps they can go wide. They had a lot of white jerseys over on this side.
It's on player. It's on your player.
It's going to come now. Goes there to Dave McCann. McCann, a very versatile talent. We can see him all over the back row. Flannery there. There's Hume. There's Stockdale. And Stockdale is spun like a whirligig and into touch.
Yeah, Covey's got him back there. I think that's off the scrum. But again, Ulster had a really good defensive second half, forcing Ospreys to kick twice and get a turnover and then move the ball so well. And again, Craig, we've just seen it all day. They've identified space, but they're just a bit clunky out wide, aren't they? And again, just turn over the ball, and Cuthie with a great tackle drags him out with his strength.
And 2 big lads on the flank, aren't they? Both of them stand well over 6 feet tall, Jacob Stockdale and Alex Cuthbert.
I think having someone, you know, the likes of Stockdale and Cuthbert on the wing is the fact that Ospreys were going nowhere there. And like Craig just mentioned, when you go nowhere, sometimes you go back to the air. The chance to win second balls just from competing, and Cuthie does it so well. They work so hard off his wing to get up and compete. And the chance, you know, what it creates off those second balls. So it's something Ospreys have missed with having a smaller back three, and I'm sure it's something they'll probably look to go to in these remaining minutes.
The Ospreys looking here for what would be a 5th straight win in all competitions. There's the try, Kieran Williams being cheered on by Matt Prothero.
Lewis Lloyd will want to be on the money here.
We're outside.
And Lloyd finds his captain. That was quite a tackle from Tom Stewart.
It's another opportunity for Cuthbert to get up in the air and challenge. Jacob will want to take this cleanly enough. Good man.
Stockdale being met by Cuthbert. There's Shanahan. On to Flannery.
Vantage, no arms tackle, number 20.
No arms tackle coming there from Will Hickey. Keelan Giles gathering it, but we're going to come back for the penalty. Now, this is a big call, isn't it?
Yeah.
2 points difference, 5 minutes left. You'd be grabbing hold of the ball, wouldn't you, Gareth? Give us the kicking tee. Yeah, leave it to me.
Depends how far back this goes. It's
time is off, players.
Not the biggest field of liberty, but I think this is probably out of everyone's range. I know John Kearney's got a pretty big boot on him. He's not on the field today. You'd say they've gone to the maul, they've gone to the sideline every opportunity they've had. So I'd expect they're going to go for that again, Frank.
Yeah, well, Cooney isn't on the pitch today, but if you have any sort of social media, you will know that he has a big boot off the tee. Equally, Nathan Doak's a super goal kicker. We saw that conversion on the right-hand side that he nailed, and I think he's got this distance in his locker, and I'll be surprised if they don't have a crack here.
Mark is over there. Captain, what do we do?
Conditions are obviously a telling factor, Gareth, but in your mind you'll always have your sort of idea of a range. What was yours maximum on a normal day?
Yeah, well, here we go. Yeah, look, you do have to consider when the ground's a bit underfoot. It means you slide a little bit with your plant foot. Your legs are heavy. If it's cold, it's going to decrease how far the ball goes as well. So, yeah, look, anything around this 50 metres, usually about it. This is going to be a big nudge. There's in the wet, slippery underfoot. Tired legs. This would be a great nudge.
Apologies, yeah, Nathan Doak's off for Shanahan. Apologies, so it'll be Jake Flannery kicking it.
Yeah, he's got it tipped forward at 45 degrees. Coming around the corner. Making his first appearance today since before Christmas. Chance to be a hero. Oh, I say, what a crack!
What a kick. Fantastic kick. It's a great nudge.
Well, he would have known the moment he struck that was straight. He would have been begging and begging for it just to make the distance, and it did it by less than a metre.
Well, it's nice for the kid too, because he's thrown that pass in the 22 trying to, link up to Stockdale. Unfortunately, he hasn't picked up Jack Walsh, and it's gone the end and turned the game. So a big moment from a great kick from him.
4 minutes to go. Next score, if we have one, wins. But at the moment, it's Ulster in the box seats.
Tackle!
Penalty going against the Ospreys.
Knee on the ground. Let's go. Line yours.
The catch there from Matty Ray.
Outside the 15, outside the 15.
Tom Stewart getting his hands, and it's a time for experience here. And with men like Tom Stewart involved, the best man for the job. They're in no hurry at all, the men in white. Well,
change the bind.
A change of the bind.
60. I tell you to break away because the couple change your binding. So will be a scrum. I tell you to break away. You can not allowed to change your binding.
I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry, mate.
Let's go. Let's go.
What a penalty kick from Jake Flannery to get the 3 points. And as Gareth said, a couple of errors this game. Obviously, Billy Burns has travelled, but not involved. Billy's a super 10. Love playing with Billy, and Jake, I suppose, will pick himself up a little bit with that nudge. could be the deciding factor in this game.
Dan McFarlane still looking a little bit fidgety. Tipperick taking control himself. The Ospreys need a score. They've still got 48 metres to go, though. That went forward off the hands of an Ulster player. Here's Walsh. Cuthbert. What a return it would be for him to play a role. There's Edwards. That time it's Lewis Lloyd, the replacement hooker. Morgan Williams. Well, it slipped through. Was that the right thing to do? But it is taken in by Jacob Stockdale.
I thought Jacob could maybe have ushered that ball out a little bit better instead of carrying out himself, giving the line out back to the Ospreys, attacking line out.
It's important here, the Ospreys just get some go forward here. They'll probably punch in Kieran Williams, a quick breakout. They may stick to their maul and just generate the phases. Look after the ball here, because Ulster every time have really given up some easy cleans.
The ball plucked out of the air. There's Morgan Williams, Kieran Williams. Well, they're appealing for everything they possibly can. There's the chance here, the drop goal. Dan Edwards, it's out of the middle. It's straight through. The young man is a hero again. What a moment.
Wow. Well, the clock may be red with us, but the referee might be going off a different one. Seems like the Ulster guys still want to play here.
Well, despite what the clock says, the referee wants another play. There's Tipperick, back to Kieran Williams, and Williams fires it into touch, and now we do hear the final whistle. And Swansea, Neath, Bridgend, the Ospreys region, has a new hero, 20 years old. Remember that memorable score here against the Scarlets? Well, that was only the start of it. He slotted the drop goal, which has sunk Ulster. Final score at the Swansea.com. Ospreys 19, Ulster 17.